Hello everyone, in today's math challenge, we will look at this 5 unknown numbers question. There are 5 letters A to E representing 5 numbers out of 0 to 9 in an ascending order. So that means all of them are single digit, with A being the smallest and E being the greatest. Also, the arrangement of these 5 numbers satisfy the following equation: AB times C is equal to DE. So here, A and B combine into a 2-digit number, times C is equal to another 2-digit number DE. Just based on this information, can you determine the values of these 5 letters A to E? You can pause this video and spend enough time to work on it, and then we come back for the answer. Okay, let's have a look at the answer together. To be honest, for this question, there is no better strategy than try and error method. However, we still need to figure out which is the easiest number we can start with. So actually, here, it is most important to determine the value for A. Because A is the smallest value, it can take the value 1, but the first question we want to ask is whether A can take the value 2 or above. So for example, if A is equal to 2, and we can give B and C the smallest possible values, 3 and 4. So 23 times 4 is equal to 92. And this is not good enough. And similarly, if you give the A value as 3 or above, it will be more problematic. So that means A cannot take the value 2 or above, and it must be 1. And here the equation will be 1B times C is equal to DE. And in the next step, we need to figure out what is the possible values for B. For example, if B is equal to 2, and in that case, AB is equal to 12, and we can give different values for the C and test whether this equation will stand or not. And for this calculation, if you are really good at the timetable, you can do it in your head. Okay, for example, 12 times 3 is equal to 36, 12 times 4 is equal to 48, 12 times 5 is equal to 60, 12 times 6 is equal to 72, 12 times 7 is equal to 84, and 12 times 8 is equal to 96. As you can see, neither of them will satisfy this equation in the question, so that means B cannot take the value 2. And how about 3? So similarly, if B is equal to 3, AB is equal to 13. And again, we give several different values for the C and test this equation. 13 times 4 is equal to 52. 13 times 5 is equal to 65. And 13 times 6 is equal to 78. This looks really promising because 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, they are different and in the ascending order, and 13 times 6 is equal to 78 is a correct equation. So we have found the answers to this question. A is equal to 1, B is equal to 3, C is equal to 6, D is equal to 7, and E is equal to 8. Here is another bonus question if you are interested in. The letters A to E represent 5 numbers out of 0 to 9 in the descending order. So similarly, these 5 numbers are single digit, with A being the maximum and E being the minimum. Also, the arrangement of these 5 numbers satisfy the following equation: AB divided by CD is equal to E. Again, based on this information, can you determine the values of these 5 letters A to E? And you can pause this video again and spend some time to work on it, and then we come back for the answer. The strategy is very similar to the last question, but we still need to identify the most important number to start with. So in this case, it is actually the letter E, because E is the smallest number here, but it cannot take the value 1, otherwise AB will be equal to CD. It does not make sense. So the E can take the value 2, but the question is, can it take the value 3 or above? So here, if E is equal to 3, and we give smallest possible values for C and D, which are 54, so 3 times 54 is equal to 3-digit number, which cannot be AB. So that means it is not possible for the E to take the value 3 or above, or in other words, it has to be equal to 2. So that means AB divided by CD is equal to 2. And from here, it is fairly easy to find the values for A and C, because C is greater than D, and the minimum value it can take is actually 4. And in that case, it is most likely for the A to be 8. And C cannot take the value 5, otherwise AB will be 3-digit number again. If C is equal to 4 and A is equal to 8, it is fairly easy to find the values for D being 3 and B being 6. So 86 divided by 43 is equal to 2. This equation is correct, and 86432, they are different numbers in the descending order, so drop down. So the answers to the bonus question is A is equal to 8, B is equal to 6, C is equal to 4, D is equal to 3, and E is equal to 2. So for these two questions, we have to use the try and error, even though there is still a correct strategy to be employed. We cannot do try and error for all the 5 values at the same time, and we have to identify which number we need to start with. Okay, thank you very much.